Okay, welcome to Starfield Mods Episode 2, and let me tell you, the modders are coming to the rescue this week. Since we have to wait for the creation kit release before we get the really good mods, we of course need the mods that make the game feel better to play first. So that's where our focus is today. Quality of life tweaks and gameplay changes that Bethesda should have put in the game themselves. But let's be honest, this is exactly what we were expecting, right? The classic Bethesda experience. Let's start off with the most important mod you should download from this list. StarUI Inventory by this guy helps ease the pain of using Bethesda's inventory menu by redesigning and replacing it entirely. The entire category list is visible, so scrolling down is no longer necessary. When you open a category, you're greeted with several columns of information that can be sorted individually to find exactly what you're looking for. Damage, DPS, weight value, and even its value to weight ratio, so you can sell the most worthwhile stuff at the vendor. Then, on top of that, you can click a button to open up even more column options. When you're buying ammo from a vendor, the ammo column is nice because it tells you how many rounds you have on hand, so you can pick up exactly the rounds you need. Maybe add the stolen or contraband category to make it easy to fence that stuff you stole. If you're still not happy with how it's set up, you can configure the custom INI to tweak everything to your liking, making it a very customizable solution to our collective inventory UI sorrows. It's of course not perfect, but it's a great option right now, and I highly recommend you install it for your next game session. Next is Experimental Combat and Stealth AI Overhauls by Nick Million. As a stealth player, I found myself being detected by enemies through walls, seemingly out of nowhere. On top of that, enemies are the standard Bethesda sponge monsters, and then on top of that, they weren't exactly smart. AIO improves all of that by putting all of the values you need to change that right in front of you. The base settings for this mod were still frustrating to play against for me, but after some tweaks, I found a fantastic balance that suited my playstyle without making it too easy. The file the mod includes has the vanilla values, so you can make adjustments according to how you want the combat and stealth to feel. But because the descriptions were kind of vague, I ended up comparing them to other combat mods, so I knew what I was changing. I simply use this mod because it includes all of the adjustable values already, and you'll be able to set them up exactly the way you like. So definitely experiment with the values in the INI file as you go through your playthrough, since that's what will change your combat experience and not a different mod. Next up is Easy Digipick by Ixion17. What this does is replaces all of the lockpicking minigames with a very easy puzzle to solve. Now I know what some of you might think when it comes to mods like these, but the thing is that, like many adults, I have a limited amount of time available to play in a day, so if I'm spending 30 to 45 minutes on my 2-hour play session on a single master lock, that's a problem, and this is a decent solution since you still need the skill to even attempt to pick the lock in the first place. I'll be keeping an eye out for a more balanced lockpicking mod in the future, or maybe I'll whip one up myself, but for now, this will let you open up those troublesome boxes in significantly less time and let you get back to the more exciting parts of Starfield. Now we get to my second favorite mod of the video, Legendary Modifications by this guy. This mod lets you change the mods that are on your weapons and armor, and in a brilliant choice of balance or limited capability, you can't upgrade common items to legendary status. You can only modify gear at its current rarity. So if you stumble upon a legendary weapon you want to use, but its mods absolutely suck, you can change them to suit your needs. Maybe you can have a set of gear made for space travel and another set made for fighting against robots. Or if you're like me and you want the perfect sniper rifle, you can mod it. But this is only possible if you happen to have a legendary piece drop. Or if you happen to stumble upon a legendary set of armor that changes mods every time you access the case, instead of reloading the game 57 times to get exactly the mods you want, you can simply pick it up and change it at a nearby bench, provided you have the higher tier materials needed to do it first. I'm a very big fan of this mod, and I'm very glad it was updated in time for this video. The older version only let you change weapons. And if you're a fan of crafting your own gear like I am, you'll definitely want to add this to your mod list. These last 3 mods aren't as game-changing as our previous mods, but the quality of life and immersion they provide are well worth it. Player-Placed Infinite Storage by Troy Irving does exactly what it says. Any container you put down at an outpost or your home has no limit to what can go inside it. Now, the functionality to be able to craft from those containers is missing, I think, so you have to pull the items out manually when you're crafting, but for a mod like this to work without the creation kit is a pretty big deal by itself. The mod author does give players a warning that it hasn't been fully tested, so there's a possibility that you could lose everything in a container thanks to some unforeseen circumstances. So use this at your own risk. Also, if you have stuff in a modded container and you delete the mod, you will lose all of that stuff. So if you plan on deleting this mod, make sure you take your stuff out first. Storage mods with more functionality will come out soon enough, but for now, this is a great option for us hoarders. And finally, my favorite, a little vendor tweak for those of us who want to be space junkers. Lower ship registration fee does exactly what you'd expect. Instead of paying nearly the sale price of a ship you've claimed as your own, you can adjust it to be a more reasonable price and then sell it for a much larger profit. You simply adjust the custom INI to be whatever percentage you'd like and reap the rewards of your ship salvaging operation. I set mine to 10% of the sale value of any given ship, and it feels pretty good to trade in a ship and then buy a few upgrades for my home ship. It's not complicated whatsoever, and it simply gives you another stream of revenue if you haven't gotten around to outpost building like me. And that's about it. These, in my opinion, were the most impactful and fun balancing mods from the past week. Let me know what you thought and which ones you want to install in the comments below. It's actually pretty crazy to me what modders have been able to do so far even without the creation kit, and I am very excited to see what they do in the future. But anyway, like the video if you liked the video, dislike it if you disliked it, and until next time, I'm Space Coconut, and you're welcome.